afternoon, everyone. It's the Turnbuckle Bandwagon. It's a very special day here today because I'm talking with the person who gave me the confidence to start this show. When this started, it was July. I had no job. I needed to do something, and I love wrestling, so I was like, let me try the show. This person gave me an hour and change of their time I learned how to edit on this. The show is still here because of this person. It is the icon. It is the Ava Taker. I'm totally pandering today.
Hey.
Ava Everett. Ava, how are you?
I am very good. How are you?
I'm great. Let's dive right in. You've, been wrestling for a couple years, but the Ava that we saw a year and a half ago is very different from the Ava that we see now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very, very different. Yeah, what a roller coaster. Like, I don't even know how the transformation happened because I feel like it's been very, very different from where I started to where I am now. Like totally like flop of character. Yeah, I don't know. In the beginning, I feel like I was always in a group, and now I'm just by myself, kicking ass, being cool, being an icon, being a legend by myself.
I mean, yeah, when you started, you were part of a unit, but even when that was going, I would see you at shows and you would kind of say, hey, this is all right, but I want to kind of do my own thing. And then and not that you were
definitely.
Not that you were people in a group, but
I'm an interrupter, by the way.
That's fine.
It's rude. I'm rude. You can isolate that clip. I'm rude. No, I just I always like saw bigger things for myself. You know what I think it is? I'm a very Anthony would laugh if he heard me say this. I think any of my friends would laugh if they heard this. I need to be in control. Not that I'm a very controlling person, but I have visions for like what I'm doing, and whether it's a match or a promo or a vignette or anything like that, like photos, you name it. Like I have a very specific vision in my mind. And I think that being a part of a unit in the beginning was so helpful for me because I was able to I started off with all these fantastic opportunities, right? So we were having high profile matches, we were working with high profile people, and it really taught me quickly what I needed to do to succeed, because you're in a situation where you don't want to do poorly, but you're also in a situation where you're with people that have been doing wrestling and performing for years and years and years. So it really gave me the tools to succeed, but it wasn't my vision. Like when you're in a unit, you almost have to, you're supporting each other. But if something goes wrong and it's your fault or it's their fault or it's somebody else's fault and you don't have control over it, that was something that I always really struggled with. So I knew that like at the time being in that group was so good for me, and I'm so grateful for it, but I knew it was only a matter of time before I needed to start to do things on my own, because it was the only way I was really going to be happy in performing, because it was allowing me to be my own individual and have my own vision. So it was, group work is hard. Being in a group is hard. I don't like being in a group. Clearly.
Tough being a team player.
I've shown that I don't like being in a group, huh?
Well, it's and like I was saying before, not to like poo-poo you being in a group. It some people work better and some people don't. But you said yourself, when appearing in like uncharted territory, which became this huge thing in its first season, you were what, 15, 20 matches into your professional career?
Oh my God. Yeah, and I was not far in at all. Maybe, yeah. When I started really having matches, I'd maybe had 15, 20 matches at that point. And it's different too, because like you train and you have like class matches. So like I was getting experience there, but it's nothing like being in front of a crowd, especially a crowd like that. That people would do things to get on shows like that, so it was just, yeah, it was such a wild ride for me in the beginning.
Yeah. And the question I ask most everyone who I talk to on here who's been at Beyond, what's that energy like when you walk out and that round is surrounded by people? Like, what's
The
that
fans
energy?
are great. Yeah, it's very fan based for me. It was always like you're seeing incredible athletes and incredible performers because that's the caliber that's brought in. But I also think at the same time, it's what makes it so unique, and I think what makes it so over with the fans is that it's very fan based. Beyond shows are very fan based shows, so they like who they like, and they cheer who they cheer, and they boo who they boo, and it's such a unique atmosphere because I mean, I'm sure you've even been to shows where it's dead silent. It's never dead silent at a Beyond show. It's always somebody yelling or screaming or pounding on the mat. And they're so close to you that it also puts you in a position where you're able to perform better because they're reacting how it may not be how you want them to react, but it's letting you feed into their reaction. It's so unique.
Yeah.
You don't do a lot of shows where it's so like fan driven.
Yeah. I mean, I've been to shows. I mean, Beyond shows when they do them up here in Worcester, they're a smallish venue. It's 100,
Mm-hmm.
200, maybe 300 people depending on where they're at. But I've never been at a Beyond show where there's a quote unquote dead spot. Everyone's
Yeah.
live and going. And I've been to indie shows bigger, 400 or 500, 600 person venues where the first three matches, I mean, you can hear a pin drop, and you don't get
Yeah.
that at the Beyond show.
No.
So that's, I mean, and again, being a fan, I will, Pluto TV has on Uncharted Territory, like the first season episodes are running. And like,
I'm in there.
yeah, you are, you're definitely,
I'm there. I may not be wrestling, but I'm there.
you're there. But I mean, you kind of found your feet, between shows there. I saw you at shows at like Northeast Wrestling and Western
Yeah.
Mass, but beyond Uncharted Territory season 2, like you kind of found your feet as a performer. I mean, you had some solid matches or interactions as
Well, thank you.
I mean, yeah, you kicking Richard Holiday dead in the face is still one of my favorite moments.
And he always talks about that with me, like every time I see him, because it was like really real.
It was, I always, whenever you repost
Don't you want to kick him in the face? I do.
Yeah, here's my thing with Richard Holiday.
So I did.
Yeah, he's from Connecticut. Like, we don't have a lot of wrestlers from here, so he's from here. He's a Connecticut guy.
You kind of have to like him, but you still want to kick him in the face.
There's that part of me that's like, okay, he's a home state guy. I cheer for him in certain instances, but if someone's gonna kick him dead in the face like you did, and kids, when you're throwing a kick, you kick through your target, not at it. You kick through it, and that's what Ava did.
I will not confirm or deny that statement, but that was a that match change. I think that match in general, because it was like that weird gauntlet, and I was in the ring for like 30 seconds, obviously. If you haven't watched that one, you might want to go back. It was like an 8-man tag, but it was like a gauntlet style where like whoever was out, and whoever came in, it was like an elimination match. And it was 30 seconds, but it was, I felt like it was like a weird turning point, because it was like, okay, I'm in here for 30 seconds, but I want more. So what do I have to do to succeed and get more? Because that match, there were a lot of really like fantastic people in it. It was, and you want to be in the ring with as many people as possible, because I think that just helps you get better. Yeah. And it's like, okay, there's almost 8 people in this match, and I'm only in there with 1. So what do I have to do so that I can get farther along?
Gotcha. Was there anyone that Beyond that you want to kick in the face but didn't get a chance to?
Oh man, I feel like there are a lot of people, who I've been like wanting to have a match with for forever, and I've only been in a mixed tag with this person, but I always chat with them whenever I see them because I think they're incredibly talented. Is Jody Threat. Jody Threat is absolutely fantastic, and we keep pushing somewhere to have this match. And I know then with COVID, the borders are closed, so she's not able to like come in like wrestle in most places. But yeah, that's when I mean, yeah, I'd love to kick her in the face. That would be so great. And I know that she would do a lot more than kick me in the face back. So that's been a match I've been wanting to have for a really, really long time, since I had a mixed tag with her. So maybe one day somebody will do it, but we'll find out.
And she was, when she was coming to Beyond, because I was going to Uncharted Territory probably about once a month in season 2. I was getting up to like one show. When she was there, like she was doing like the spotlight matches, which was before, which they put on social media, and she was in Uncharted Territory. Like she was one of those, when she had a match, like you saw guys come out, you saw people come out from the locker room area to like watch her matches.
Yeah.
So that definitely,
she's awesome. I think she's really, really great.
All right. So let's, I mean, again, the evolution, I've seen it, you know, with stuff like the girls' room. I have the t-shirt over here. I haven't done anything to it yet. It's just kind of sitting here sad.
Do what you want.
I'm wearing your shirt. So
I know you are. It's a very cool shirt.
It is. It's a very cool shirt. Limited edition. I don't think you can get these anymore, folks. I got one.
That one is actually really limited edition because someone made that design for me, and he like printed t-shirts. Yeah. So he was like, hey, I made this design. I print t-shirts. Like, do you want me to print this shirt for you? And I was like, absolutely. Yes, I do. So he printed those shirts, and I was not able to get them again because it was his design.
Oh,
so okay. Those ones are real limited edition, like probably unless he makes them again. Unless he makes them again, I don't see that shirt ever be like seeing the light of day again.
All right, so I'm gonna hang
on.
And
they sold too. They were gone. I think I sold them out in like 3 days.
I had to get you on the second run because when I reached out, you were like, "Oh, they're all gone." I'm like, "He's like, I got more coming." I'm like, "Okay, just slot me in for when you get, you know."
Yeah, it was very, very nice. It's actually a Beyond fan who made those shirts. Suzuki Goon.
Okay.
Yeah, he's Steph. So he made those shirts and made the design and everything. He was like, "Hey, I made this design for you. Do you like it?" And I was like, yes.
Yes. So folks, limited edition. Can't get these anywhere.
No, you can't. Oh, it's so horrifying. All of my t-shirts are really horrifying. Just big like images of my face doing weird facial expressions.
Right. So, you know, for folks who may not be aware, let's get into the current events talk in Limitless, and I'm kind of just going to give some background to folks who maybe aren't terribly familiar in this. And I'll even pull the shirt over here if you want me to, but we won't right now. When you were up here before you relocated, you know, the group you were part of, the girls from yourself, Davienne, Skylar, were doing matches and stuff all over the Northeast. I saw you all at least at 3 or 4 different promotions doing various matches and tags. There's a great 6-person mat tag show at Blitzkrieg that all 3 of you, which was an amazing. I think it was against the Shook Crew last year or so. You know, so
you're in a couple of them at Blitzkrieg, yeah.
And then they were all great matches, and there was a chemistry. And you know, again, you and Davienne were legit best friends. You know, you're on a t-shirt together. So in your own words, what changed? What happened? Where did this go off the tracks?
Yeah, well, I think like what we spoke on earlier, I don't think I'm meant to be in a group. I think that I have a very unique viewpoint of the trajectory of my career, and I always put myself in situations to kind of be like manipulated and taken advantage of. And I think it comes a point with anyone, you kind of just get sick of it. And I don't think that anything that or any action that I did was uncalled for. I think that everybody, you know, needs their retribution, and I got mine. Like I'm all set with the break of the group, and you know, things happened how they happened, and I'm ready to move on to greener pastures. I think that on my own I'll succeed far more than trying to, you know, push someone else's career, because that's always what I've done. And I think I need to push my own. Time to not be a doormat.
Okay, that's certainly, so you kind of felt again others' career getting ahead at the expense of yours, getting ahead, and you're tired of it. I get it.
Yeah.
Oh, and before we get a little too more serious, what is going on with Love Doug? This guy.
He's a freak. I don't know what else to say. Tweets at me every day. He's a freak.
He's calling you a witch.
He keeps calling me. I don't know what happened. This weirdo calls me an old witch lady because I called him a loser on Twitter, which he is one. Let's look. I'm not saying like, oh, you're a loser. No, like he's legitimately a loser.
Yeah,
if you have watched Limitless, Chaotic, all of the above, he doesn't win matches. He's a loser. So I just stated and reminded everybody that he's never won a match. And I guess he liked it because he will not leave me alone. And he keeps tweeting at me, and he got a little upset and called me an old witch lady. And first of all, I am young.
You are.
I am not old. So
You're
I don't know what is going on with this individual. He's a freak. He's snuck into my house and given me cards. He's a weird dude.
That's
a weird dude.
That's B&E, Doug. That's breaking entering. You can't do that. That's a no-no.
I wish that I had answers for everybody about Love Doug, but Love Doug is just really a weird dude. And I do plan at some point on the road. I'm gonna have to like fight him. I don't know. He's just a freak.
But he seems to want that, like all these he calls them dates. Like he has
it's dates.
It's dates. It's dates. Like I'm a little older, so I'm like flashing back to like Glenn Close and Fatal Attraction, like rabbits boiling on the kitchen stove. His whole thing with Becca. Like he didn't leave her alone for like 3 months. And I think she had to like
it's like flavor of the week, but flavor of the month. Like he just gets one and he just wants you to love him. And it's not gonna happen.
It's no, Doug, no.
So he's like, no, Doug. It's a no for me.
And then he goes, the whole thing with just Davienne. Now apparently him and Rip Bison are in a thing because he had this match at Rip and he won't leave Rip alone now.
Now they're on a date. They're on a very long date too, I suppose, right? Like what a weird individual. Weird. I don't know what else. Weird.
And other goings on at Limitless. I mean, yeah, you've got you and Davienne are going to get into this. Is going to be a one-on-one straight up fight match. How do you see this playing out when Double Vision happens?
And it's funny too because she's another one that is just obsessed with me. Doug is obsessed with me. Davey is obsessed with me. She was tweeting at me earlier, just saying that people don't want to talk to me or something, or that I'm mean or something. I don't really know. But she's just another one that's obsessed with me. They all just want to fight, go on dates with me and wrestle me, which I don't blame them. I mean, I would want to wrestle myself too, but obsessed. She's obsessed with me. And all I have to say about the situation is that when I did what I did, I was evening the playing field. Davey has gone out of her way. She like slowly like feeds off of people. So it was Skylar and then it was me. And now I've seen like her trying to like lift up Becca and bring Becca all of these places and wrestle. Like, Becca, be careful. That was me too. But she got her way onto Limitless. She got her AEW dark matches. And it's like she feeds on people to get where she wants to get. And it's not something that I'm interested in participating with. So for me, we're having this Double Vision match because she's obsessed with me and won't leave me alone. Like I have to do something to get rid of her, right? Like I didn't even want to accept the match because she's obsessed with me. Obsessed. It's very weird.
For the record, I was kind of promoting our interview. I was saying, hey, today I'm talking to Ava. And then she responded. I mean, it's Twitter.
Tweeting at me. But without at me next time, like, girl, I know you're talking about me. You're obsessed.
Yeah, she was like saying, you had, and in the interest of fairness, because I try to be professional, I am going to talk with Davey at some point this week.
Oh.
Hey,
have fun. She'll become obsessed with you too. Watch out.
I'm not close to Limitless. I am in my own little spot here in Connecticut. So I'm just in the interest of a story in the narrative, trying to get both sides. And the last time I did this, when I jumped in between Eel and Erica Lee, it didn't go so well. Hopefully this will go better. My mediation skills need a little work.
Well, good luck.
I know. So I will be talking to her at some point this week. You two have said what you've had to say. This is going to be Double Vision is going to be a good solid event because all these matches that they have, you got Casanova versus Red Death, you versus Davey. There's some tag matches going on. This is going to be another solid show for Limitless. It's bittersweet for me as a fan because I've seen y'all compete together. But now I will see y'all compete head to head, and it's gonna be a thing.
Yeah, it'll be something. It'll be something.
And just onto lighter things. The new gear is fire. The green.
Thank you.
What was because I've seen you change gear a number of times. What was kind of the driving behind this new look that you got going?
Yeah, it's just an evolution of, I think, me as an individual. I like to draw inspiration from things that like interest me and that I like. But I feel like I've always been really driven by like pop culture type. I think the gear that you're specifically talking about, like the green gear with like the butterflies and like the jean bottoms. Mm-hmm. So that's actually, it's influenced by the I'm a Slave for You by Britney Spears performance, like that iconic performance with like the boa constrictor.
VMAs. Yeah, the VMA one. Yeah.
Yeah. I've always really liked Britney. I think that she's super iconic. She's very cool. And it's just like an evolution of becoming your own individual, I think. And I just wanted to draw inspiration by people that I like, that have been super influential in pop culture. I think that I've drawn a lot of inspiration from like Poppy and Grimes as well. I'm big into like alternative like pop music. So I just wanted to take things that I connected with as an artist and kind of make them my own. So that gear in particular was when I started doing my own thing. All of my kind of like my performance in general was very based on like Britney and her transformation, like from being like super cute to like a little crazy to like this mature woman. So that was really my kind of like how I felt in the beginning too. I almost had like the same weird like transformation from super babyface group with Anthony and Angel Sinclair, and then kind of like being in this weird middle spot of weird tag teams that I just kept getting like linked into, and then being my own person. So it's very pop culture and alternative pop based, but just all things that I like.
Yes. Yeah, and before we get into it, hashtag free Britney. If you've not
hashtag free Britney.
But supportive, and that's just how I feel about it. Watch the documentary on Hulu. It's great, but it'll kind of make you feel bad because we've all kind of like been a little judgy. Like, no, just
of course.
So again, free Britney. I think it's great. I love your gear has always been fun. Like even when you first started and we're doing,
I try,
doing like the neon green mesh, kind of the 90s mash up to like the Power Ranger stuff, which is probably just in the drawer forever, which I'll miss, but that's just like a
I still wear pieces of it, just not the tops, because the tops are very Power Ranger.
And then
it's cool.
Your current look, your current gear is I'm a big fan of like
gear
looks, and it's a great look. And as we getting out of the pandemic, maybe got back to quote unquote normal, kind of what's it just been like to be able to get in the ring again?
It was very weird. Obviously in the beginning of the pandemic, I was living in the Northeast. So they were very strict on like shutting things down and closing. So when like my wrestling school back home shut down for a while. I mean, like I would go for walks, I would work out outside, I would do the best that I could, obviously, with what I had. And but I think being in that environment, even when I moved to Florida, I still was kind of like, I know that it's a different beast down here. People just kind of do whatever they want to do, which is horrifying.
Yeah.
It's very weird. I still kind of tried to do the same sort of thing. I have like resistance bands and I have a mini trampoline. I live near a walking path, so it was still the same kind of thing of like working out on my own than going to a gym, because you'll go into places and they don't require masks and stuff down here, just like super. I know it's a touchy subject, so I won't get into it, but I just think that's very weird. It's not hard to wear a mask and keep the people around you safe. I don't think that's a lot to ask, but do as you do. I just have, ever since I moved down here, I've been trying to do my best, like in the community, to not go out if I don't have to. I still do a lot of like the curbside pickup and like delivery and that sort of thing, which I think is super cool and an awesome, so something very awesome that I think that a lot of more people should take advantage of, especially if you're someone like me that just likes to be in their house. I don't want to go anywhere.
Oh.
I want to be in my house and I want to watch my shows and I want to be lame and sit and do nothing. So, but to get back to your question, it was very weird of a transition for me to get back into the ring, especially because wrestling is such a contact sport. Like you're very, very close to the person you're working with. So it is scary, but I always make sure that I'm doing the right things. And I hope that others are, I hope that the other people, that I'm in contact with are as well. I mean, I get a COVID test almost every single week. So whether it's like a Monday or a Sunday, I'm very fortunate in Florida, and I live in Orlando. There are a lot of places that you can just drive up and get a 15-minute rapid test completely for free. And I do them all the time. I still work. I have a real job, and I just want to make sure that I'm being as safe as I can around my peers, whether it be at work or be at wrestling. So I'm constantly making sure that, I have my COVID test, I have my results on me. I'm not going out if I don't have to. I think it's just a lot of being proactive and being smart and trying to protect those around you. So it's been weird, and it is, I feel a little bit scary. But I think if you take all the right precautions, you can do it appropriately. So long-winded answer on that, with my own personal beliefs in it, but which you got to say what you got to say. So it was a weird transition, but I felt like I did it as the best that I could.
I have a day job in which I go to work, I come home, I go to the grocery store. Grocery store is the only non-home or workplace I've been to in the past, almost a year. So, and I'm fine with that. I'm good with curbside, drop it on my porch. I will tip you extra,
I love the drop. Oh my gosh. Uber. I never did like Uber or anything like Uber Eats or anything like that. And that is like my new favorite thing. Like if Anthony and I want to have a date night, I'm like, I'm just gonna Uber Eats because I don't want to go sit down somewhere.
So speaking of which, what's in like the Hulu Netflix queue? What's keeping you sane?
So I'm an anime fan. So right now I've been kind of like bouncing around and watching just a couple different anime shows. I know that like I'm also a creature of habit. Okay. So I like to rewatch things. I actually just finished completely rewatching all of Sailor Moon. I know that I've had some like inspired gear and merch. It's just something that I really, really enjoy. But just kind of like we still watch a lot of wrestling. we have IWTV, High Spots Network, WWE Network, YouTube for AEW Dark. We watch it all. I really like to ingest as much as I can, because I feel like with COVID and only being able to kind of train on like a limited basis, you kind of still have to keep yourself sharp.
Yeah.
And I think a great way to do that is watching all different types of wrestling.
Yeah.
You watch it all, ingest it all, and make it your own, I guess.
I watch Dark. I watch NXT. Again, I try and watch here and there. IWTV, of course, Limitless the Road. IWTV, best bucks you can spend.
Yep.
Supporting our friend Layla Hirsch on Dark when she pops up there, which is great to see.
Very cool.
Let's get Ava on Dark at some point. Let's see, make that.
We'll see.
I think that would be. I think there's they've really been good on Dark about having the women's matches on there, and there are a lot of women on there. I think you would match up very well with, be it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Be it Laylee. I'd love to see. I'd love to see you and Danny Jordan get into it, because I think y'all are a good. I feel like that's a good like every time I see her, I'm like, you know what? I'd like to see Ava kick her. Just that's my metric now. Do I want to see Ava kick? Do I want to see Ava kick in the face? Because I feel like that's a good. You are both kind of a very. There's an energy that you both kind of have. It's a little similar. So I'm like, yeah, let me see. Just throw that in there.
Sure.
Is there anyone that you've seen there that you want to kick in the face?
I feel like there are so many people that I've been able to like interact with that are always on like the top of everybody's list. I was able to wrestle Chris Sat once. I know she's out on injury right now. But that was really unique for me. I was still super, super brand new when I got to work her. So I would love to be able to do it again with her one day. Just because I feel like I have evolved and I've gotten so much better than where I was when I first wrestled her. I also was in a tag match against Diamante one time. I'd love to get back in the ring with her. I've always really, really wanted to have a singles match with her. I was actually scheduled to have one a couple of years ago, and then like people didn't make shows, so matches got moved around. And I was a little disappointed because I was so excited to work her. So I'd love to wrestle her. Serena Deeb, I think, is so talented. One of my favorites. Always so impressed with her. I just feel like there's a lot of really fantastic female wrestlers right now, whether it be AEW or it be the indies or WWE, that I just feel like I would love to just experience working with them, because there's so much more talent than there used to be. Like I'm a big fan of watching I watch a lot of like 90s, late 90s, 2000s wrestling, and you just didn't see. So when I watch wrestling, you don't see a lot of women, because it was not, it wasn't common for them to be allowed to given time on a show.
Yeah.
So when you did see it, it was always so like, I just thought it was great. Yeah. And now that we're given more time and more opportunity, there's so many women out there that's like, wow, you're great. I want to work with you. I want to get experience and see what you do that's different than I do. And there's a lot of really, really great women's wrestling right now.
That's awesome. Now there is I guess Mania weekend is happening in April. It's going to be in Tampa, and a lot of folks are throwing shows up there. So you got anything going on, or are you just kind of?
It is not announced, but I do have something coming up. So I will be in Tampa Mania weekend. I am trying to be, like I said, as safe as possible. So I'm trying to keep my interactions and my bookings as limited as possible. I know that a lot of people are going to do a lot of things right. And I commend them for that. And I think that a lot of the talent that is going to be showcased Mania weekend deserves it. I know that I took a hiatus from wrestling from COVID. So I'm just so grateful that I'm going to be participating in just one show, so if more come, but right now I'm really happy with the transition and the show that I'm going to be helping out at, and we'll go from there, but you'll have to wait to see what's going on with that, because
Yeah, it
I
seems
know.
a weekend full of surprises. There's like stuff being
I
announced.
think it might be.
Yeah, this full is everywhere. Like, and it's like, oh, people you didn't think were going to be back are now kind of back from injury, because COVID
Yeah.
kind of been like a weird blessing in disguise, where folks who were hurt had a chance to like really rest up. And because wrestlers, athletes are like this too. When they're
Yeah.
injured, it's supposed to be sitting home. When there's shows happening every weekend, they push to get themselves back. Now that there was nothing going on, everyone's like, oh, okay, it took a global pandemic for
Yes.
folks to take some legit needed
I
time.
was one of them, oddly enough. I right before the pandemic, I had some few nagging injuries that were getting significantly worse. So for me, and nothing like serious enough that, I like didn't have any broken bones or anything along those lines, but just a lot of pain that I felt was hindering my performance just in general. And I was actually at a show right before COVID, and I kind of like had to pull Anthony aside, and I was like, I have all these bookings coming up, which all got canceled because COVID. But I was like, I have all of these bookings coming up, and I don't know what to do because I'm hurting and I'm not performing at the level that I want to perform at, and I don't want to cancel on people because I don't want to let people down. But I was in a bad spot, and COVID for me was a blessing in disguise, because I mean, for Mania weekend that got canceled, I had like 5 or 6 bookings. And it was like my first real Mania weekend as a singles competitor. And I was going to like do all of these great things, and I was excited for it. But I feel like at the same time, I don't think I would have performed how I wanted to. It was like a lot of little small things. And when COVID happened, I took 3 months off. I ate what I wanted. I watched what I wanted. I wasn't really working at the time because my position at work, they like decreased the hours for it, just because it's a very face-to-face based marketing position. So I wasn't able to like go out and interact with people. So I ate what I want. I watched what I want. I laid in bed all the time. I maybe did like core and push-ups and stuff, but it was the best thing I think I could have done. Because when I came back and I like took that first bump and did those first rolls, it really like was a game changer for me. Because I felt like I had never been hurt before. like I really recovered the best that I could. So it made me sad, because I felt like I had such a great upward trajectory going. And I almost feel in a way that I'm at the same level in terms of like reaching out and going different places and working new places. It's just weird. I needed the time off, and I'm sad that I couldn't keep going up, because I felt like I was going up. But I just feel like it would have ended poorly. I probably would have gotten really hurt or something along those lines. So I'm very happy with the places that I work and the shows that I'm doing and the training that I'm doing, and being able to actually go to the gym and work out and watch my shows and do all the things that I want to do and live like a little bit of a life. I wasn't doing that before. I'm mentally in a better place, and I'll get back into where I was in wrestling when it happens. I think, you kind of just have to let it ride. So I'll get back to where I was eventually.
Yeah, and in my I rewatched Outlaw Star. I'm rewatching Ghost in the Shell, Standalone Complex, and rewatched Black Lagoon.
Yeah. So you're like, I'm watching my shows and doing my thing.
I also got like I Love My Deadliest Catch and my Forge and Fire, my Battle Bots. I like that.
Yeah.
Stuff. Ava, thank you so much for the time. Where can folks?
No, of course.
I know you have a Patreon and social media. So where can folks find you at on the internets?
So Instagram and Twitter, you'll find me at Ava Everett _. You can also find me. I have a Facebook fan page that is Ava Everett. And also if you search Ava Everett on Patreon, you can find me there as well. It's very simple. It's all Ava Everett. It's all the same.
Except for Love Doug. Doug stopped tweeting and calling her a witch, because that's just,
yeah, I'm not a witch.
Stop.
Not afraid of water. I can't cast spells, because if I could cast spells, I would have a lot of money. It would. I have a lot of money.
She would send you somewhere, Doug. If she could cast spells, she would have.
I would.
And send you.
I don't know where I'd send him, but far away from me.
Again, Ava, thank you so much. Coming up on Double Vision, which is March 19th, I believe. I may be off on the date. Limitless, don't be mad at me. You versus Davienne. I won't ask you for a prediction, but the main event is going to be Red Death Daniel Garcia versus Chris Casanova for the Limitless title. Knowing what that title does for people, and knowing, as we all know, Casanova is signed, what kind of matchup can people expect for that?
I think that I think Dan Garcia is so great. Yes. He is humble, he's kind, he's a great person to have in the locker room. And I really hope that with the trajectory of that title, it's hard because Christian, he's one of us. Like I trained with him, he comes from my school, so you don't want to see him lose, but you also see what that title does for people, and when people deserve it, they deserve it. And I mean, you hope the best for the both of them. Deep in my heart, it's kind of like, well, I hope Christian's making all of us at New England Pro Wrestling Academy and in the Northeast look great, so you want him to keep it. But then when you meet Dan and you know how great of a person he is, you want him to win too. So it is a toss up. I think that people are just in for a great match, and I think that they will deliver.
I mean, for those who don't know, quick history lesson: the last two Limitless champions, MJF signed. Yeah, MJF signed. Anthony Green, now known as August, signed. Running things on 205 Live, mind you.
He's running it. Yeah, that guy over there. Who the heck is that, man? I don't even know. He's in the other room, probably listening to me right now. Like, what's going on with this girl? I don't know her.
Him and Kurt Stallion run things, and in the future, Ava, we want to see you're in a good place to be seen in more places. Be it Dark.
I hope so.
Be it Impact. I'd like to see you go to Impact, kick somebody there in the face. Ava, give me Ava Everett versus Rosemary just once. I don't need it multiple times.
That'd be cool. That'd be very cool.
That'd be cool. Conflation of energies. Neon and very,
very energetic. Yes. Yeah. Just energetic.
Chaos energy and all that. Again, Ava, thank you so much. I really appreciate the time. Folks, Double Vision, Limitless Wrestling, March 19th. IWTV, sign up. I'm sure there's a promo code you can find if you want to pay for it. Or find a friend, or just sign up and pay them, because it's $10 and you're going to get.
I do.
Yeah. If Ava pays, you can pay. Ava, again, thank you so much. Appreciate the time.
Of course. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you too.